How do you take these pictures?
How is this possible?
How can you be so good at taking
But
pictures?
how?
Can you share any tips how to taking pictures?
Can you teach me? Okay. I hear you. Let's get started, shall we? In this video, I will be teaching you guys on how I take photos in Genshin Impact from start to finish. But first, this video will only contain how I take photos, not editing them. So, if you guys want a video on how I edit them, comment down below. Alright, so how do I take pictures in Genshin? There are two main things I consider before taking them. First is the idea, and second is the composition. Okay, so I have a location in mind, so I'll be teleporting here in right in Shogun's palace. And my idea here is I'll be taking a picture of Raiden Shogun's palace from this perspective, and it's going to be nighttime. By the way, in taking pictures, I recommend you guys using high settings. I recommend going high settings because it can improve your photos quality a lot. I usually take photos with high settings, but since I'm recording a video, having high settings will take a toll on my performance, which will have crappy FPS, which will not be good for your guys' eyes. Anyways, now that we have an idea, next is the composition. So first, what are compositions? Compositions in photography is using techniques that are used to set up the elements of a picture. If you're an artist, you might be familiar with this since composition isn't only used in photography, but in paintings, drawings, writing, music, and a lot more. There's a lot of compositions in photography, and when I mean a lot, I mean a lot of them. But in this video, I will only be teaching you guys 5 of them. So first is the rule of thirds. So, the rule of thirds, there are these invisible lines. The rule of thirds places your subject on the left third or right third of the frame, creating a pleasing composition. Each intersection point is a potential point of interest. Align your main subject along with other elements of the frame along these points to create a balanced or visually interesting image. Here are some of my photos taken in Genshin Impact with the rules of thirds. Next is Depop Field, or you might know it as blur or bokeh. By using this composition, it helps separate your subject to the background, and it also makes your photo much more interesting to look at. Here are some of my photos as an example. Third is color contrasts. So, in color contrast, your subject stands out from the background because of the contrast of their colors. Hence the word color contrast. Here's some of my photos as an example. Fourth, we have framing, also known as frame within a frame. Framing is where you position your subject so it's framed by something else within the scene. It just helps make your subject stand out from the background. Again, here are some of my photos as an example. Lastly, we have leading lines. Just like the name suggests, there are invisible lines in the photo which leads your eyes to the main subject. Here are some of my photos as an example. Anyways, now that you know those, let's get back to taking pictures. Right, so those are the 5 compositions. So in this photo, I have something in mind, which is going to be color contrast and leading lines. There's also a bunch of other compositions like perspective and such, but in this video, we will be mainly focusing on the things I teach to guys. Here I'm going to use leading lines. From the lines here, you can see here, it's leading to this. And I'm also going to use color contrast because of the yellow and blue, which is, if you know what color theory is, it is a color complementary, which is orange and blue. Anyways, let's take a picture and save it. So this is the result of the picture. My idea was having the tower in frame centered in portrait, and I applied various compositions in it. So I applied a quick color grading in the pictures, so I'm sorry if it doesn't look good. Anyways, that's how I take my pictures. And lastly, my opinion on taking good pictures. Don't just randomly take pictures. Make sure you put your thought into it and be creative. There are a lot of techniques you can use to improve the quality of your photos, like learning how to use the camera much efficiently, knowing your angles, and showing a story through your photos. And the most important aspect of all is having fun. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for today. If you guys want more types of videos like this, make sure to comment down below and consider subscribing. You can always unsubscribe and it's free. Also, thank you for my friend who helped voice over the intro, and if you're into arts, make sure to follow at HughieVier in Twitter. That's all, thank you for watching.